Hello, my dear friends. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about the 4 stages to getting to $100,000 a month in your business. This is a natural progression that every business has to go through, whether you do it on purpose and you do it strategically, which means you get there faster, or you do it by accident and get there. These are the stages that you're going to go through. So for those of you who are interested in growing and scaling, this is what you can expect. I've done this myself a couple of times, and I do this for my clients regularly, and we've really kind of drilled it down to the core 4 pieces that it takes to get there. Okay, so first stage is what we call offer expansion. Now, offer expansion, it's based off this idea that most people who can get to, let's say, $20,000 a month in their business, they have something. They have an offer that's working, whether they're selling it via referrals or organic or outreach or whatever it is that they're doing. They have an offer. But that offer must first be prepared and tweaked and expanded and made good enough to be a $100,000 per month offer, $200,000 to $300,000 per month offer. Now, what does that include? What does offer expansion include? Well, a couple things. One is a re-examination of the audience and offer match. Specifically, who is buying this thing, and are there other people who could also benefit from this thing, and are those audiences correlated or connected in some way? Example, if you sell something to coaches, okay, you could definitely make $100,000 a month on coaches, but could consultants also benefit from that same thing that you're selling to coaches? If so, expand the offer to include consultants. Because now what you're doing is you're expanding your audience. You're still staying narrow, right? So you're still saying, no, this can only help a specific group of people, but I'm including these other specific group of people into my offer so that I have a bigger audience to draw from, which allows me to have a more sustainable business. I can't tell you how many times people go out, they make a lot of sales in something, and they completely, run through their audience, and their ad costs go up and CPMs go up, and they sort of saturate their market. So the bigger the market, the better when you are looking to grow and scale. The second thing is the price of the offer. Many people are significantly undercharging for what they do. And as a result, they will never be able to hit $100,000 a month because the mechanics of fulfilling on the offer are impossible under those $100,000 per month revenue numbers. So let me give you an example. If you sell something where you are doing it for someone and the thing you sell is $1,000, in no version of reality will you be able to do something for someone 100 times a month without completely burning yourself out. Under no, adding things like recurring income to your offer. So let's say you have a coaching offer, okay? Let's say that your coaching offer is good and it's $2,000 and you're happy with $2,000. You don't want to increase. You're like, I could do 50 coaching clients a month. Okay, that's fine. But without transferring those $2,000 per month people into a recurring fee after 90 days, or without transitioning them into something larger, what you'll end up doing is making the number one cash flow mistake that most people make when they're trying to scale, which is to assume that how much it costs you to get 10 people to buy something for $2,000 is how much it will cost you to get 100 people to give you $2,000, right? So for example, let's say that your normal cost to acquire a $2,000 client is $200. Well, when you scale that to 50 to 100 of those per month, it's not going to cost you $200 per 2,000. And that's where a lot of people get stuck in scaling, is they haven't expanded their offer to match the new demands of cash flow that come with scale. And so they can't scale. It's impossible. It's mathematically impossible for them. The last piece, of course, in offer expansion is it's all about the mechanics that we were talking about, but making sure that what you're offering is fulfillable at a higher level with less work from you. Okay, so here's what I mean. If you want to get to $100,000 a month and you want to sustain that whatever, that income or revenue, whatever it is, and you cannot have something that doesn't serve the people who buy it at scale, at a high level, if one, you're hands-on because you'll just exhaust yourself, things will slip through the cracks, it's no good. And two, at that level of expansion into the market, people will start to talk. And you need to be able to maintain a solid reputation, and you need to be able to deliver lots of results, because when you get to that level, results beget results, right? So if somebody buys a coaching program, somebody buys a service from you, somebody buys something from you, you get to a sort of a point at which any paid traffic that you're spending money on is now starting to be matched in revenue generation by people just telling their friends, the success stories that you're constantly able to generate and share, and et cetera, et cetera. So you need to, in offer expansion, there's a lot of work to do. You've got to figure out how to make your offer so that it fulfills better. You've got to figure out how to make it so you're less involved. You've got to figure out if the pricing works. You've got to figure out if there's a big enough audience, et cetera. So that's stage one. That, I think, is what takes people the longest to figure out, which it doesn't have to. I mean, if you look around you, there's plenty of offers to look at, to model, not copy, but to model and say, how are they doing it? How can I do it better? All right, so that's stage one. Stage two now is where we get into automated marketing. Now, for most people, you can talk about Facebook ads, you can talk about YouTube ads, you can talk about a lot of things, but I would say for 80% of the people that come to me, I actually recommend LinkedIn. I recommend hiring a virtual assistant, automating what it is you do on LinkedIn, and then going to paid traffic. Because there's a couple things that you need to figure out in stage two. Stage two you need to figure out is, what is the message that I can send to people broadly, and who are these people, and what are they responding to, and how much is it costing me at scale to get them into my business. What hiring a virtual assistant and going to LinkedIn does is it allows you to get that scale, but it allows you to also do something which Facebook ads and YouTube ads typically don't do, which is to automate conversations. Okay? So a lot of people go from, I have a business where it's completely referral based, and when I make a sale, it's because I've had a back and forth email conversation, and I had 2 separate phone calls, and then they try to, as untrained webinar creators or as untrained Facebook ads people, they then try to compress that whole sales cycle that they used to do into a 45-minute webinar. And they wonder why it doesn't work. What getting a virtual assistant, going to some place like LinkedIn does is, one, we know everybody on LinkedIn is there to do business. Two, is it's a much more organic approach, meaning it reflects more of this process over here where we used to, there used to be a more intimacy in the sale, and it allows us to sort of take one step over rather than the complete jump of, here's what we were doing, now we're going to try this completely different thing which we're not trained in at all. And then with the virtual assistant, obviously allows you to step back and start to measure numbers, which is, again, one of the things that very few people practice before they get into spending on ads and YouTube and things like that, is looking at metrics, making decisions based off of metrics, not based off of feeling, etc. So I recommend most people, their first automated marketing should be on LinkedIn. And it should be hiring somebody, creating SOPs, going through, creating the templates and all that kind of stuff, experiencing it in a much more forgiving environment than trying to go straight to Facebook ads. Okay, next, stage 3. This is where we start to talk about our leveraged income. Now, I've got other videos floating around here where we really dive deep into leveraged income, but what leveraged income is basically what mechanism can we put into our business that offsets advertising and marketing costs such that our real cost to acquire a client or a customer actually ends up being zero? And how can we make that income completely hands off for us to fulfill? Let me give you the short version. Have you guys seen the $27, $37, $97 funnels that are floating around? That's a version of leveraged income. They're called SLOs, tripwires, whatever you want to call them. The whole purpose of that thing that someone has created is simply to offset advertising costs. If you want to really scale, and I'm talking exceed $100,000 a month, stage 3 leverage income is really where you begin to experience the scale-friendly math. If you can take your cost to acquire a customer to zero because you're offsetting it with Facebook ads, with leveraged income through Facebook ads or through YouTube or through whatever, that will change your game forever. Now, you'll notice it's stage 3. It's not stage 1. Why is it stage 3? Because in stage 1 and stage 2, we've gotten to know the people that we're working with. Our business is scaling. Like, we're hitting $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a month just in stage 1 and stage 2. And you need that experience with the people that you're working with at scale, so to an audience, before you can really start going out there and doing really, really well with a $27 offer. Typically, when we work with our clients to do one of these leveraged income funnels, an SLO, tripwire, whatever you want to call it, we actually don't just break even. We typically make a profit on this leveraged income and offset all of our ad costs. Now, the only way that we're able to do that is by going through stage 1 and stage 2 first and having that intimacy with exactly who it is that we want to attract into the business. So we have to know what the messaging is, what do they respond to, etc. Now, stage 4 is, and this is actually, stage 4 is probably my favorite thing about business, and it's simply to work yourself out. Okay. Essentially, if you take a 2-week vacation, and this is a really good litmus test, ask yourself, if I take a 2-week vacation right now, what happens to my business? And I don't mean take your computer with you and work on your business. I mean you completely shut off. Your team can't talk to you. Your clients can't talk to you. Nobody can talk to you for 2 weeks. What will happen to your business? Now let me ask you this. What will happen if you took 6 weeks off from your business? In that same way, nobody can talk to you, you're not checking anything, you take your computer, you toss it in the lake, and you just go to the woods for 6 weeks. What happens to your business? If the answer is anything other than my business continues to grow, then what you have is a job. So stage 4 is taking everything in stage 1, 2, and 3, and it's creating an actual business. There's a lot of people floating around the interwebs these days with their little 2 comma club award or whatever plaques that are up there, and they don't even realize that they don't have a business, they have a job. Okay. Stage 4 is all about working yourself out of the business so that it can function independently of you. All right. And that's when you actually have something that's sustainable. That's, I would say, the most difficult part of this process. It's also, in my opinion, has the highest reward. I would rather get paid less to never work again than to get paid a lot to work 90 hours a week. Okay. That's my personal approach to things. But what's really interesting is that when you get to stage 4, what you'll find is that by working yourself out of your business, you actually end up making significantly more than if you were to stay in it and sort of essentially be the stopgap in your company. A lot of business owners don't even realize they are the ceiling that is preventing their business from growing. When you can create it to be independent from you, it'll blow up beyond your wildest imagination. So that sounded like a Willy Wonka promise there, but it's true. I mean, I've done it in multiple businesses of my own, helped clients with it. They're always surprised. I'm always surprised, and I've even been doing this, at when the business becomes its own living thing, how big it can get. And I don't mean big in like, 90 employees or anything, but how much impact, how much opportunities can be created without you necessarily having to be a part of it. So that's it, my friends. Really quick video for you this week on how to get to $100,000 a month. If you would like to talk to my team, or if you'd like to see an extended version of this training where we spend about an hour going through all of this stuff on how to grow to $100,000 a month, or 7 figures a month, or whatever your goals are, is how to grow and scale your business, there should be a button somewhere or a link somewhere on this video. Go ahead and click that. You can watch the training. You can also have a chat with our team, and they'll take a look at where you are in your business, and they'll see whether or not you're ready for this, what stage you're at in your business, and then we'll see if there's anything we can do to help you. All right, my dear friends, that's it for this video. I will hope to see you on the next one. Have a good one.